Siblings often joke about being the parents' favorite child, but a new study shows that parents playing favoritism is a no joking matter. 70% of mothers who participated in a study admitted to having a favorite child. While that may be concerning, what we should be more worried about are the long term effects that favoritism has. Joining me on the other side of the stream is a parenting expert, founder, and chief baby mommy at BabyYumYum, Amanda Rogaly. Good morning, Amanda Rogaly, and thank you for joining me.
Miriam, good morning to you and your listeners. How are you today?
I'm well, thanks, and yourself?
Fabulous, thank you. Very interesting topic we are talking about.
Yes, because we were discussing this earlier with my colleagues, and it was mentioned that of course, parents have a favorite child. It's just that we try not to show that we have a favorite child, and we favor more. Some are more than others. Even when it comes to punishment, some get more a harsher punishment than others, or punishment or discipline. Now, let us first start off with the definition of it. What is parental favoritism?
So essentially, what is parental favoritism? Parental favoritism is when you favor one child over the other, and it can be one parent or both parents, but it is the consistent display of favoritism, and it can include more time spent with one child, or less discipline to a certain child, or more privileges towards a child. And I think what's important, obviously, to highlight is the fact that it's normal and we all do it, but it's something that happens regularly, and it's when there are differences between two children, and when you discipline and when you show different attention to one child versus another child. But it is normal and we all do it.
Mm-hmm. So why do we do it? Why do parents have a favorite child?
There are many, many different reasons, but essentially there could be one of the reasons. I'm just going to put out a whole bunch of reasons there. It could be that your child comes out and it's a little girl, and perhaps she looks like you being the mother. She has the same mannerisms as you, the same eyes as you. And of course that creates, immediately you start to favor her more because she's a little mini you, essentially. That could be one of the initial reasons as well. Or it could be the oldest child, and particularly in some religious or cultural circumstances, your eldest child, or whether it's the boy in the family, naturally does get that favoritism because of the cultural or religious reasons. That could possibly be another reason. Or in some cases as well, where there is a child in the family who has a particular illness or special need, that child will gain some of the favoritism because that child does need more attention, and it does need more focus from the parents and different treatment. So essentially, that could too be classified as favoritism. So there are many, many reasons, some naturally and some essentially enforced by the circumstances in which you live.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the point that you just mentioned, with the child probably having an illness or a different ability. Now, some circumstances like that, would it really make a parent choose them as a favorite, or, is it just because they have to get the extra attention because they need the extra attention?
I think that, they may need the extra attention, and although in a household you would in fact discuss it, and you should discuss it with the rest of the family members in the house as to why you are in fact giving different treatment to that particular child with the special needs. It's important to discuss the treatment, but still the rest of the children in the household do take it as personal. You can't but help take it as personal when you are in fact in that environment and you are noticing that there are different experiences that you are having to your brothers and your sisters. So although you as a parent may not be doing it intentionally to upset the rest of the siblings do definitely take it personally, which does obviously have those long-term types of effects that you spoke about in the beginning, that one should be looking out for, and one that we are now conscious of based on various studies.
Mm-hmm. Yes, let us talk about those long-term effects. How do they affect the child or the other children?
So the biggest long-term dangers are that they've now found out, obviously, are depression, anxiety, and unstable or even traumatic reactions in personal relationships, and in fact, personal anxiety for both the favored and the non-favored children, believe it or not. And even looking at things like self-esteem issues or feelings of rejection, which follows the child into adulthood. And the non-favorite child can grow up have experiences of low self-worth and feelings of rejection and inadequacy, and the sort of giving up due to feeling that they can never be worthy of the same attention and love and affection that the favored child receives. And this often has the same long-term implications on their performance in jobs, in school, in personal relationships. And, the parenting relationship sets the foundation and expectations for future relationships. And while one thinks that the favored child may have such a wonderful relationship and that everything's all set out for them and they have amazing self-confidence, they too have a lot of issues as well by being the favored child all the time. There is a lot of pressure put on that child as well, having this attention put on them all the time. So they have this constant attention. They have this constant feeling that they need to be the best, that they need to be they need to be the favored one all the time. And unfortunately, from that, they tend to have difficulties in failure of any kind, and they have this pressure to keep up the performance, and they are prone to rejection, or they have lots of tense relationships at the very least, because they obviously they don't want to fail. And being the favorite child all the time, they know that they are not favored by perhaps their other siblings because of the fact that they are the favored one all the time. So that puts a lot of pressure on them as well. So it's not always just a walk in the park for the favored child.
Mm-hmm. And we see it a lot in TV programs and movies and stuff, and they grow up into adults where they also have the sibling rivalry because of how they grew up in one being more favored than the other. Now, how can you tell if you're favoring one child more than the other?
I think it's important I think firstly, it's important to take a step back. And I think it's important to know your own personal story and look back at how you were brought up and in your family. And it's only how you were shaped in your family. It's how it's currently implicating on your current family now. Take a look. Are you an oldest, a youngest, or a middle sibling? And how you were treated and how that is actually playing out into your family now. I think that's quite important because that shapes how you are obviously molding your current family at this point in time. And I think it's important to be aware of how you are actually being towards your children at the moment and in your family. Just be aware and change the behavior to something more consistent. Because as I said in the beginning, we all do it, and it's impossible in some situations to be consistent and to be neutral. And it just happens, and that really is okay. Just be aware and be consistent. So if you buy one child a gift, buy the other a gift, even if it's not their birthday. If one gets an allowance, give the other one an allowance when they reach that age. Spend quality time with one child and the other child and give them separate amounts of quality time. Listening to each child. Set up times in your daily routine where you're giving each child the same bits of quality time and quality attention. I think that's very, very important. And for me, that's the most important thing. Know that you can correct your actions before you fall into a cycle of very, very bad behavior. So take a step back and try to change things. And if you are in a situation where there are religious or cultural favoritism, so to speak, it's important to you can have those favoritisms inside, but to play up the other child. So if your favoritism is towards a boy in the family, because that's how you've been taught, that a boy is with the first in your family, and that's just the way your favoritism goes, always play up the girl. Empower her, give her the information that she needs, teach her about self-respect, about love, about the woman that she's becoming. It's very, very important to, yes, you have your favoritism to one child, but to not show the other child that you disfavor them. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, that is okay. We have a comment here by Jerome Jessam Vermeulen. In most instances, the favorite child abuse that privilege, even when grown up and married. Actually, been aware that they can get away with it, doing so much damage that's lasting on other siblings. What are your thoughts on that
Absolutely.
comment, Amanda?
Absolutely. And I think you're quite right there. I think that that sibling favoritism doesn't just happen when you are children. It carries straight through into adulthood as well. And this even goes into you can still obviously favorite your children when they are growing up. For example, preference is often given to children who live near parents or give financial support to parents or provide parents with emotional or financial support. So that is one way that parents obviously do give favoritism to their children when the tables kind of turn, when the parents become the caregivers of the parents. If that makes sense. But yes, that definitely does get carried through, that favoritism from when you are children through to obviously to an older type of adulthood phase. And that's when the parents favor the children. But children know their situation about who was the favored one within the family circle. And I think it's important to address that at some stage when you are of a mature sort of age, where you can sit down with your sibling and say, hey, you were always the favored one. Let's unpack why you were the favored one and the impact that it's actually had on my life, and how we can actually kind of readdress and rebalance where we are in our lives now, and look at what we can do to give us a sort of like a status quo and give us an equal playing field in terms of where we are with our relationship.
Right. So Amanda, when parents are aware of their favoritism, what impact does that have on the children, especially when a parent would say, like, okay, this child does this, or this child does better in school, that's why I'm rewarding them, and you need to pull up your socks, etc., etc. So what impact does that have? But we're going to take a quick break, so hold that thought and we'll continue when we return.
%. 1 July is day zero for the Kucha Dam, resulting in dry taps for hundreds of families in the surrounding areas of Port Elizabeth. Help us strategize. Support our water drive in the Eastern Cape region of South Africa. Donate your lilla towards the erecting of JoJo tanks in impoverished areas and for the Bickles to deliver water in areas of need. Donate to the Al-Fida Foundation. Visit our website at www.alfida.co.za or contact us at 041 484 1288.
Looking to get your kick? Kiki's have now reopened on 235 Matthews Maiwa Road in Durban. Head on over for the Taste with Kick. We offer something scrumptious for everyone in the family. Wraps, chicken tikka, burgers, tender grills, mocktails, milkshakes, and so much more. Corporate and events catering available. Visit our social media pages for more info or call 031 209 0119. Kiki's, the Taste with Kick.
Famine, conflict, and severe economic decline make the humanitarian crisis in Yemen the worst in the world. More than 20 million Yemenis do not know where their next meal is coming from, and over 10 million are suffering extreme levels of hunger. With your support, the Al-Imdad Foundation delivers essential food aid to starving Yemeni communities. It's a question of survival. So let's do what's right. Donate online at alimdad.com. or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Mid Morning Talk on Salam Media, and we are talking parental favoritism with Chief of Mommy at BabyYumYum Amanda Rogaly. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section or send them to us via WhatsApp. The number is 0617660355. And let us know if you were the favorite child amongst the bunch, or were you one of those children who had to look on while your parents favored the others and had a favorite. Amanda, thank you for staying with us. Now, before the break, I asked about when parents are aware of their favoritism, what impact does that have on the unfavored child?
So I think on the unfavored child, as we spoke before, I think that it really does have those long-term effects of low self-worth, and it definitely does affect your impact, your performance impact going forward. And this can really go through from an educational point of view through to a personal relationship point of view, where you just feel that everything that you do is not good enough. And, studies have related back through to everything from, sexual promiscuity through to job loss, through to prison incarceration. I mean, the list is endless, and you can tie, you can tie anything back to anything in a study. It's because I was an unfavorited child. But I think it's important to really kind of try, and as I said again, try and unpack and try and explain to your kids that it's not, you don't unlove them, you don't less love them, that and when my kids say to me, "Mommy, do you love me more? Do you love my sister more?" It's important to turn around, and say, "I don't love you more and I don't love you less. I love you both the same, but I love you differently." Because it's very, very honest, to be very honest, you do love children differently because you love different qualities within those children.
Mm-hmm.
You don't love one more than the other. And, it's interesting. And I always say, when after I had my first child, my biggest fear before I had my second child was, am I going to love my second child as much as I love my first child? Do I have enough love in my heart for my second child? And that was my biggest fear. I remember crying the night before I was due to give birth to my second born. And it's amazing how when that second one comes out, you as a parent just find this amazing bubble of love that you never even knew existed, that just expands, and it just finds enough room for your second child or your third child and your fourth child. And I think that that's important to remember, that you as a parent have enough love for anything that you produce, and you will always find the good, and you will always find the love for your second, third, or however many children you're having. So it's not a case of saying, "Oh, I only wanted one child and I only have enough love for one child." You will always find love for the second and third child. They are all different and they are all unique. And that's the most important thing to focus on.
Mm-hmm. And also, children have different personalities, so it is it's okay to love them differently, or to have a favorite. I mean, they are different at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And often you'll think, "Oh, why can't you?" You'll say to your kids, "Why can't you be more like your sister?" Or why can't you be more like your brother? And that is very, very damaging to a child to actually say those kind of things, because then again, they are always trying to compare themselves to their sister and compare themselves to their brother. So it's not a good idea to say those kind of things to brothers and sisters. Rather more have the approach of, "Why can't you do something? I love what you're doing, but why can't you do something faster or something quicker? Or why can't you," never ever compare them to their sisters or brothers, because that will stick with them for the rest of their lives. And although you say it in the moment because you're cross or you're angry, it's something, unfortunately, that does stay within someone's spirit and within someone's memory forever and ever. And they will consistently use that and compare that in their lives going forward.
Mm-hmm. Now, in a case where there are stepchildren involved, it can't be easy, especially when a stepchild is there looking on and in the situation, and they know that they are not the biological child. So obviously there will be favoritism there. How do you deal and how do you handle such a situation?
Absolutely. So really, it is a huge task taking on someone else's children, which we call blended families, and there are extra complications there, and there are a lot of tensions that get created there. And I think it's most important it affects the whole well-being of the family. So I think it's most important to be realistic about the situation that you're going into, and to give to acknowledge the fact that a stepmother is not going to feel the same immediate unconditional sense of love for her stepchildren that she feels for her own children, and expecting either of the step-parents or the stepchildren to automatically have deep feelings for each other would only put a lot of pressure on everyone involved. You know, everyone thinks that you're going to come into this relationship and it's all going to be a happy family. It's not. It puts on a lot of pressure into everyone. So it's important to have an ongoing attitude of reality, I suppose. So I think that a lot of step parents actually never emotionally connect with their stepchildren, and they might even view them them with a lot of resentment or jealousy or hostility. And if a child's step-parent and biological parent actually have a child together, both parents might favor the new child that they have in common, because obviously it's their common child that they are creating. And this can cause a lot of long-term problems for the child who is less favored, going back to the common things that we mentioned before, you know, aggression, poor performance in school, long-term relationships. And then you've got to take into consideration the relationships between step siblings and half siblings obviously can be damaged by parental favoritism, and these siblings may compete with each other, and they may compete for the affection of both parents. And I think the way to the way to deal with this is you need to look at all the factors around this, and give the love and nurturing essentially to everyone, and you need to bring all of the different parties into this as well, and say, I'm not favoring you and I'm not favoring you, but yes, this, my natural child, or my child that is in the relationship or come into the relationship with me naturally, we have a bigger bond because we've been together for longer. We know each other better, but I'm excited to learn about you and I'm excited to learn about your family. Let me teach you. Have the door open and allow each other to teach each other about each other's families. And I think that's the most important thing, communication, because everyone's going in with different expectations. And the way I describe it is, you're going into a movie house, you're all going into a movie house, all these different people, these different members from different families, you're going into a movie house to watch a movie, and you're all seeing different movies in your head. So it's important to actually talk about what it is that you are seeing when you are all in fact together.
Mm-hmm. And also when it comes to discipline and, disciplining your stepchild, that can't be easy.
Absolutely. Very, very, and that's so important, I think, and that really makes the foundation of a good blended family in terms of discussing from the beginning, what is your approach to discipline? What is your approach to rewarding and praising, and obviously sticking to that. And the most important thing is, whatever you decide to do in your blended family, you as the parents, as the newly formed parents, you do it as a team. Children are coming into this relationship with you, and children need that parental team to look up to give them some sort of comfort and some sort of stability, because obviously everything is very unsettling for them. They need to see you as a parent body and as a team that's working together, that will protect and unite them together. They can't have mom saying one thing and stepdad saying another thing. They need to see the two of you together as a unified body making decisions. So if mom says one thing and you as the stepdad maybe don't agree on that structure, don't shout down mom, kind of just go along with it. And then in the background, listen, mom, I didn't really agree with what you said, but we go ahead in it together. We're a team. We're showing the rest of the family that we're a team together. And I think that's the most important thing.
Right, Amanda, thank you so much for your time. But before you leave, please share your contact details or for more information.
So for more information on this topic and other exciting topics, please go to BabyYumYum.co.za, the #1 parenting portal, where we have loads of experts, loads of content, and phenomenal things happening every day, where you will be able to obviously access the information also on Facebook and social media.
All right. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you.
That was Amanda Rogaly, the chief mom and founder and parenting expert at BabyYumYum. And for more information, you can go to babyyumyum.co.za and also find them on social media for more topics on parenting and topics on parental favoritism, like we just discussed. So babyyumyum.co.za. It is 11:29. You're listening to the Mid Morning Talk on Salam Media with me, Mara Mokwanda. We will be right back.